Alrighty, we are back. Time to continue this. I'm going to be just as mean as I was last time, and just as frank. Let's get started. Um, I don't think I addressed it last time. I'll address it this time. If you hear, well, this sound, I just have an infinity cube because of my ADHD, and if I am sitting here for 2 hours, I need a fidget toy. I just need one. But yeah. Oh crap! I forgot. There. There we go. Now I'm in. Yeah. All right. So we're picking up where we left off with Paladin. Scroll down. Um. So yeah. I forgot to go over proficiencies. I I'm not gonna. My opinions about having these types of proficiencies is not gonna change. So even though I forgot it for like all the classes between barbarian and this, it kind of doesn't matter. You know what can I say beyond like these are getting very specific that like this class plays this way, which I don't personally like. If I ever do a review of Dragonfall, I can go more into that. But yeah, this. Starting off, Divine Sense. This is a fun flavor feature. Okay, so um where huh. Powerful good rings heavenly music in your ear. So there's a wording of Divine Sense that I heard on an actual play where it's like you sense good and evil. Um I think it's in reference to this, the presence of strong evil and powerful good. This is a thing going to be talking about in more detail later, but like this specific wording appears in detect evil and good, protection from evil and good. It's a dumb wording. It's straight up a dumb wording because here it does the alignment doesn't matter. What you're detecting is celestials, fiends, or undead. Protection from evil and good, detect evil and good. Again, it's like celestials, fiends, undead, fae, extraplanar stuff. You know, it's unnatural stuff. This is a fun feature for a paladin. I think it's a bit specific to D&D world building, as I've kind of mentioned stuff before. But it's a fun feature. Hollow spell. You know, if you're already detecting, excuse me, stuff like celestials and fiends, yeah. Lay on hands. I mean, this is neat. It gives paladins like a good amount of healing that they don't need to use spell slots on. It's not as powerful as using spell slots necessarily, but yeah. 5 hit points to cure a disease or neutralize a poison. With how readily this is, and especially at higher levels, 5 points to get rid of a disease or poison. What is the point of having diseases or poisons then? You know, this is when I talk about mechanics, you know, like immunity to conditions and stuff. The reason why these types of things I think become a problem is because now here's an entire mechanic of the game that you're ignoring. You know, what is the damn point of any of it? Anyway, we go into fighting styles. This is fun. I kind of like this. My problem with fighting styles is more that it's so specific to the only classes that get it are fighter, ranger, and paladin. Why don't barbarians get it? You know, it's like it's kind of what I was talking about with Battlemaster, where this is just like martial characters should just kind of have stuff like this. I think maybe not defense. Defense is one that's kind of like well, okay, so specifically defense, dueling, great weapon fighting. No, actually not great weapon fighting. Defense, dueling, you know, stuff like this. It is born out of like, well, we need to give fighter something because barbarian has rage, and then you know, then it's given to paladins and rangers, and it's this trend throughout D&D of things keep evolving, and when you think about it, you can see the trend and you can see where it evolved. Spellcasting, getting it at level 2, ah, I don't know. Like, I can see how it's weird. I can see how it's not. They are half casters. First, the first half casters. So it's like, you get half the spell. You count as half of a level of a full caster. I like the idea. It allows the paladin. You are part fighting, part spellcasting, and it's like why they. I think the weirdness is that they both come in at level 2, whereas your first feature is just the divine sense and the lay on hands. It's like the only thing letting you be paladin with sword and shield is your equipment at that point. All of your other stuff except for like these are magical, but your combat stuff all comes in level 2. But for balancing purposes, I also kind of understand. Um, Divine Smite. It's fun. No notes. Um, at all. Makes sense. Again, what we were talking about. Uh, Diseases are so barely used because the mechanics for them aren't well specified, and then they just get shit on like this. We already have you can neutralize a disease level 3. No, I just don't get diseases. Yeah. Um, I like out spells. That's nice. Um, I kind of like that Paladin's channel divinity is only based on their oath. Um, and that they don't like it's a bit weird that they don't have a default oath like clerics do, but also it's makes all the oaths you have more flavorful. Where it's like some not what if a campaign doesn't deal with undead? Now you just have turn undead that does nothing. Extra attack, yep. Aura of protection, the auras. These are fun. Um, it's like the thing is they can get crazy, but because if you're being a paladin, charisma is your second to third highest stat. Aura of protection doesn't get too crazy usually. If you have the time to level charisma, this gets crazy. But I think it's balanced. It can be balanced by how by just like, well, for one, it's only to saving throws, and like damaging saves, you're still taking half damage on a failure unless it's a dex save and you're a rogue or a monk, but I digress. um but yeah, like this is fine because it's not completely ignoring a thing. This, on the other hand, I get why this exists, or of courage. um but again, it's like we are completely destroying entire mechanics of the game. You can't use the frighten condition if there's a paladin in the party. And it's like, you should build encounters around the party, play on their strengths and weaknesses. But this is like so it's later books, but like, the aspect of Tiamat and Bahamut in Fizban's, they have like a thing where they take a bite attack and then you have to succeed a saving throw or be frightened. The problem with straight up immunity to conditions and like permanent straight up immunity to conditions, like I like Berserker's mindless rage conditionally because it counts on you having rage up. But then it's like, rage lasts for the whole minute, that then kind of breaks it. Yeah. And then also, like, going back to our protection just real quick. If it is not a damaging saving throw, if it's like, say, like hold monster, then this becomes really powerful. Improved divine smite, extra d8. Name's a bit weird. I think they're changing it in 1D&D, but otherwise, like, you got to keep up with the fighter having 4 attacks, the monk having a bunch of attacks, the barbarian just having extra damage on rage. It makes sense. Cleansing touch. You can use your action to end one spell. Huh. I thought that was part of lay on hands. That's weird. Huh. That's weird. Oh, um, yeah, this is weird. I remember these being listed as a second feature, especially because they work with Yeah, that's weird. That's hold on, let me check something because I know that every individual paladin also gets their own aura. I mean, I get it. It's better to have to specify this every time than have one feature. Your paladin auras extend, because then that's more ambiguous. So it makes sense. It's just like kind of a weird wording. I don't know. I guess I was also because at the same time, it's like you have an invisible feature here, which is not a bad thing. It's just a confusing. Because at first, it makes it seem like level 18 is a dead level. No, you have an invisible feature here, and I get why it's not listed, because, like, all of your paladin auras becomes ambiguous, just listed on them. It's not a problem with the game design, it's a problem with how they have to represent it. Paladin oaths. These are flavorful. But yeah, we're talking about the Oath of Devotion here. Protection from good and evil. Hey, I was just talking about it. It's protected against certain creatures of a certain type: aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, undead. Let's talk about this. Aberrations. I mean, they're usually evil, but like in a cosmic evil sense, not a celestial and fiend sense. So, I kind of feels like it's outside good and evil. Celestials usually always good. Elementals usually neutral. Fae, whatever the hell. Fiends usually evil. Undead, kind of similar to aberrations. But it's like undead are undead if they are conscious will often be have an alignment, often be evil. If they are like zombies, they have no will of their own. This spell is weirdly named. You know that's my notes on it. It's weirdly named. One moment, I just gotta take care of something real quick. Like I said, real quick, I'm back. Yeah, it's just a weird name. Sanctuary. Sanctuary make the thing is, Paladin of Devotion is the kind of this is something I didn't get to talk about last time. Um, each class has their kind of like, this is my default subclass, where it doesn't necessarily do anything wild. It's just, like, you just want to do more paladin stuff? Okay. And Oath of Devotion is the default paladin subclass. Sanctuary, yeah, I guess it makes it's just a paladin-y kind of like clericy paladin-y spell. Makes sense. Lesser Restoration, yeah, paladin-y healing, divine stuff. Zone of Truth. If you this kind of works for Paladin of Devotion because it's like honesty, don't lie or cheat. It's like kind of extending that. You're a knight of justice, knight in shining armor. It's like, yeah, like order and stuff. Beacon of Hope, fun spell. Um, honestly, you are going to be. Oh wow, I. Oh, what? It's showing freedom of movement. That's what's going on. Beacon of Hope. Yeah, you're gonna be on the front lines, so yeah, it makes sense for it to be there. Although Beacon of Hope is confusing because sometimes I have seen it ruled that because most specifically in Critical Role. Oh gosh, specifically in Critical Role and High Rollers, Beacon of Hope has been ruled as an aura, but in I think it was Rolling with Difficulty, or it may have just been in Critical Role was ruled as an aura. But then in Rolling with Difficulty, it's like, and this wording here, they're doing it right. It's that it is a pulse, and then you choose the targets, and then no matter if they are still within 30 feet of you or not, they're under the effects. Yeah, no, it's a fun spell, and also very fitting for Knight of Justice. Dispel magic. I mean, there's not anything wrong with the spell magic. It's kind of like Sanctuary and Lesser Restoration of, yeah, it's fine. Freedom of movement. 8 others protect the weak, punish those who threaten them. Mm, hmm. I mean, it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just like, hmm. Guardian of Faith. Yeah. Commune. Yeah, I don't believe paladins get commune. Makes sense for Oath of Devotion. Flame Strike. If you're just being the most paladin-y paladin, it's like, I guess with this stuff too, and Guardian Faith, just bring a bit more cleric into it. Flame Strike makes sense. Flame Strike's fine. Channel Divinities. Sacred Weapon. I don't. I mean, I guess it is because for 1 minute, and you're adding your whole ass charisma modifier, and so it's good if they have a very high AC. It's just kind of weird. It's this weird feature that is super unique. Oh, right. I didn't get to talk about the other confusing thing. Each channel divinity option, when you use your channel divinity, you must finish a short or long rest. This is so confusing because it's the same name as the cleric feature, and clerics get more uses of channel divinity. So you have this very confusing aspect where paladins can only use it once per short or long rest. Let me double check to see how paladins, in case I said clerics, but paladins can only use it once per short or long rest, and I'm going to double check right now to see how often clerics recharge theirs, because I know it's more than once per at least long rest. Mains channel divinity. Yeah. But so clerics is also recharged on short rest, but they get to use it more, which is super confusing. I had that in a game, you know. But yeah. Turn the unholy. You have turn undead, but it's also like fiends. Yeah, makes sense. That's honestly really fun. And I don't get why only this paladin gets fiends. Why not clerics getting fiends? But oh well. Aura of devotion can't be charmed. I don't get where the charm is coming from. I guess it's like possession, and if like you're already being the most holy of paladins, I guess it makes sense. But at the same time, and again, it's the same feelings I was having towards Aura of Courage. And the fact that you period can't be is also like, yeah. Purity of Spirit, always under protection of good and evil. That is a very fun feature and makes sense with this subclass. And I mean, protection from good and evil is can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. I mean, so again, but at this point, like with the subclass as it is, can't be charmed or frightened by them. Already can't be. Oh well, can't be possessed. Possession comes in so little. It's only specific creatures that do it. That at that point, it's not a whole mechanic you're avoiding. It is like I think it's only like ghosts that can possess in base 5e, and so it's like at that point, since it is such a small sub mechanic, yeah, I get it, and also it's flavorful. Holy Nimbus, I hate. The paladin capstones are fine. I hate that they're an action to activate, because that means because D&D action economy gets ruthless when things cost actions. It gets ruthless because the action bonus action movement economy gets ruthless when you need an action to activate something, because then you are spending your whole ass turn doing that thing basically. It sucks. I am in my Ravnica campaign. I'm kind of dreading when Chris reaches level 20 because, yeah, and it's only for 1 minute. So it's like, you can't put it up to go through the dungeon. You have to be like, all right, the fight is about to start. And even then, it's like it may be villain monologue, and then you run out of time. But that's probably only like if the DM is like, yeah. Whenever an enemy starts to turn the bright light, take 10 radiant damage. Okay, that's fun. Advantage on saving throws cast by fiends or undead. This is a very specific advantage. You have to spend your action using it. It lasts for 1 minute. It's only fiends or undead. This is actually making it way too specific, since and especially since they're moving into spell like features more. But yeah, it's making custom action and making against spells. Otherwise, it's pretty neat and tight and balanced, and I like it. But yeah. All right, now Oath of the Ancients. So if you want a little bit of naturey in your paladin, Ensnaring Strike. This is the druidy rangery paladin. Yeah, makes sense. Speak with animals again. Misty Step Moonbeam. Misty Step, like, flavor wise, you can give it that druidy feature. Moonbeam, of course, is a druid spell. Plant Growth, of course. Protection from enemy, of course. Stone Skin makes sense. I still hate the spell. Ice Storm, yeah, makes sense. Druidy. Commune with nature, druidy. Tree Stride, druidy. Yeah. Nature's Wrath. Use snare a foe. And creature must succeed or be restrained. Saver Sucks get annoying. Saver Sucks get really annoying. Because then it's like, I saved, your turn was wasted. But also like, pretty fun. That's actually a very fun feature for this. Yeah. Fey or Fiends. I don't get Fey. And this is because of my own kind of world building philosophy. I don't get why Fey are turned, because Fey are not always, going to be the enemies of an Oath of the Ancients. Fey may oftentimes be the allies. This is just turd undead. Fiends makes sense. Fiends are usually like, I had a whole discussion in thing about, it's like demons and devils as a concept are such a very specific Christian theme. And like, the kind of equivalents for them are not going to be the same in other traditions. Like a cacodemon, an evil spirit in the Greek tradition is not going to be the same as a Christian demon. But in any case, these malevolent forces, these fiends, are going to be enemies to life and living and such. So that makes sense. That was a long tangent. Oh, Aura of Warding. Resistance to damage from spells. At least it's not advantage on saves against spells. This is super powerful. And, again, we're getting into things where, okay, 10 feet makes sense. But then when it's 30 feet, that's ridiculous. And like resistance to all spells. Again, we're coming up on, back to what we were talking about with the Holy Nimbus, advantage on saving throws against spells. Well, they're moving away from giving spells to stat blocks, and then as well, this feature is either it does so much or it's going to do nothing for dozens of encounters. And it's full on resistance. It's like it's either going to super nerf the mage you're fighting, or it's going to be completely useless because it only cares about spells. Undying Sentinel. I can just say no to dying once per long rest. Yeah. I mean that's fun. Like great. No, that's exactly what this is. This is Green Knight. Going in the Green Knight. It's just like, yeah, no. And it's like life magic. It's kind of wonky as a feature here. I see what they're going for, that it's life energy, but and also like, the name's fun. But this also, like, the mechanic of you can choose to drop to 1 hit point. It feels much more like a barbarian thing than a paladin thing. And so it feels like the wrong paladin to have it. But in either case. All right, Elder Champion. Action. 1 minute. We talked about this with Holy Nimbus. Start of your turn, regain 10. Pretty nice, I can see better why Undying Sentinel. Whenever he casts a paladin spell, does one action you can cast as bonus action. Really powerful. Because, like, not even going into the rest of the paladin spell list, Ice Storm, and then a full action of attacks with Smite. Speaks for itself. Disadvantage on saving throws against your paladin spell. At least it's only 10 feet. At least it's only 10 feet, but you are also trying to get into melee. It's fun, but it's also super powerful. And like, I think I may have skipped over this in the last one, and I'm sorry. The reason I'm getting on some of these mechanics for being so powerful is that, being a designer myself, it's like, sometimes you need to sacrifice balance to have fun. But I am calling out the stuff that I am finding so ridiculously powerful that is like, this is warping the game around it rather than working with the rest of the game. Vengeance Paladin. Bane makes sense. Hunter's Mark. That is a really fun spell to give Vengeance Paladins. If you are all about, I get this specific person, give them Hunter's Mark. That's fun. Hold Person. You're not getting away from me. Misty Step. You're not getting away from me. Haste. More aggro. Protection from energy. I guess it's to kind of like, try your best to be an unstoppable knight, like, you can't touch me with that. Dimension Door, not getting away from me. Banishment. Oh boy, Banishment. Again, like, it's either everything or nothing. You send them away. Even if you don't send them away, it is an entire minute to prep. It is a crazy spell. Hold Monster makes sense. Scrying, I want to find my enemy. All these things. Banishment doesn't make sense so much. And especially, it's like Vengeance Paladin. Say it is a target you would want. Say the creature you have vengeance on is like a demon. Why would you want to send it home instead of killing it? Even in D&D lore, like base D&D lore, you kill the demon, it goes back to its home. I don't get why a Vengeance Paladin would want to do that rather than killing it. It's going home anyway. Abjure Enemy. Immune to frightened fiends of disadvantage. Because then this is like, your vengeance is against one of these, basically. You can't have a vengeance against a dragon or Fey Lord. It's gotta be fiend or undead. Failed save, a creature's frightened for 1 minute or until it takes damage. While frightened, the creature's speed is 0. You can't gain benefits from its speed. This! Oh my gosh! More features need this! More features need a if they save effect. More features and spells need that. Because that is desperately needed. But otherwise, it's like frightened and their speed is 0. This is Batman! This is Batman! It's like, it was brought up to me, I was seeing it on a live stream once that, Oath of Vengeance would be a very good Batman build. This is Batman. This is straight up Batman. Vow of Enmity. You can make a vow against a creature within 10 feet of you. You gain an advantage on it against 1 minute or until it drops to 0 hit points. Because I'm giving this slack because it is a single creature, one creature, only one, for 1 minute, and it is your entire channel divinity charge. that is enough to balance out full advantage against something, in my opinion. Level 7, Relentless Avenger. Not an aura. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, you can move up to half your speed immediately at part of the same reaction. This is like Pursuit. This is a Pursuit ability. You know, they're trying to get away. No, I go after you. My problem with this, why not pick up the Sentinel feat, where if you hit an opportunity attack, they can't move? Then this feature is useless. And again, like we're talking about, like, you know, useless features, useless rules. I don't get it. You only get one opportunity attack per round, and you know, why not pick up Sentinel? They can't move, instead of, well, I can try to chase you. Yeah. It's when you speak your Valve enemy over your foe, when a creature makes an attack roll, you can use a reaction to make a melee. That's fun. I think because, you know, like the downside, like the thing balancing Valve enmity makes this not quite as good. No, because here's the thing. Yeah, what I was gonna say is that, like, you would have to use your Valve enmity is such a commitment with with you know, once per short rest. You get Valve enmity or Abjure enemy. That's such a commitment for this to be a whole feature. This is where, again, I'm going to reiterate, D&D is a dungeon delving system. That is at its core. That is why we have short rests and long rests. This is a feature designed for that. You want to be taking more short rests to get more your channel divinity back, more Valve enmity, etc., etc. All right. This is just a thing. Why is this and this formatted completely differently to this? That's just a nitpick. I'm not reviewing the formatting, just the mechanics. All right, action. We're 1 hour. Now we're getting somewhere. Flying speed of 60 feet. Fun. You know, again, Batman. An aura of menace in a 30-foot radius. First time any creature enters this aura starts to turn there, must succeed a wisdom saving throw or become frightened of you for 1 minute or until it takes damage. Attacks against a frightened creature have advantage. This is fun. This is fun. I think the only problem is that it is a one-time try and save, or this whole thing becomes useless. That gets balanced out by the hour-long duration, and again, dungeon delving. If you are dungeon delving, you know, you're probably going to have multiple encounters in that period, multiple chances for this to go off. It's fine for what the system wants to be. For how we are playing D&D, this is the fact that it is a one-time save. First time starts its turn there in a battle. Because of that, you know, like the way we are playing D&D as a more storytelling system, this is weaker because of that. As a dungeon delving system, it's fine. But then it's also like, you know, what about the boss fight? The boss succeeds. Okay, all you have is a flying speed. Yeah. And you're likely going to short rest to have channel divinity back after, or like before the boss, you know, stuff like that. And also, yeah, so you're probably going to short rest before the boss. Short rest is 1 hour. You know, so you would lose this. Can't use it again until long rest. It's the cooldown. It's the little stuff that killed it. But now Ranger. My Ranger hot take. Ranger is a misguided base 5e Ranger. Tasha's did a lot. It is misguided, but I like the direction they tried to take it in, because you have Bard and Rogue being the social classes. You have magical classes, you have combat classes. Ranger's meant to be the exploration class. Unfortunately, those mechanics do about nothing. Favorite enemy. This is basically flavor. You have an advantage to track them. You you gain languages, and you get more. This is a completely social feature, unlike the how and okay, like let's compare it as well. Let's combine it as well with the other first level feature, Natural Explorer. Choose terrain type. You only get a few terrain types. You get one at the start. Proficiency, you get expertise when trying to, like study your favorite terrain. Okay. Um, Now let's talk about the benefits. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. How often does that come up? Can't be lost except by magical means. How often does that come up? These are almost like, and of course, like it depends on how the DM's running the game, but also like gains another activity while traveling. You remain alert to danger. Traveling is usually abstracted. And that also goes for like this too, even though like, rolling. If you're traveling alone, you can move at stealthy at a normal pace. When are you traveling alone? When are you using this alone? You're gonna be in a party. This is a group game. When you forage, you find twice as much food as you normally would. Okay, rations are kind of ignored a lot of the times because they're such a hassle. When tracking other creatures, you learn their exact size. This might come up, or it might not. And then you get two more. So let's compare these to what Paladin was getting. Like a flavor feature in I can ping and find stuff, and then a feature with a very obvious mechanical benefit of I can just heal. Rangers features do not much. And this is a trend. Rangers meant to be the exploration class. These are great if the system had more of an emphasis on exploration and you could use these in more interesting ways. I don't think I need to say more. Fighting style, same thing as Paladin. I think it's weird the way they're divided. That Paladin gets the two-handed weapons and the shields. Ranger gets archery and two-weapon fighting. I mean, I get it, specific fighting styles for them, but it's also like it limits your options. Spellcasting, that same deal as Paladin. Primeval awareness. You can use your action and spend a spell slot to just track things. This can be useful, but it's what are you going to do mechanically with it beyond? Oh yeah, there's stuff like I have I've seen it used in an actual play. It has its uses, but this is not very useful beyond what it says on the tin. Oh, there's things here. Okay, what does this help you deal with that information? At least it is in addition to having your subclass, so it's not too badly weighing anything down. Extra tech, yeah. Moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. We come back to my complaints about Stone Skin. How often are you going to be facing non-magical difficult terrain? I mean, it depends on the DM and how they run the map, but how often? In addition, you have advantage on saving throws against plants that are magically created or manipulated. So we have it very specific. Very specific. I guess it's also like, they already aren't gonna mess with you. But like not this is very specific. Which, like I hated that in Stone Skin. I like that here because it is only advantage. To impede movement, such as those by the Intego spell. The problem, the trade-off is that, this is very specific, which is a good thing that you're not getting advantage constantly. But at the same time, it is a bad thing because when does this come up? Hide in plain sight. I like this feature. Hot take, I like this feature. Because it is fun and flavorful. Plus 10 to dexterity. For 1 minute of creating camouflage. Lets you just set up an ambush. That's fun. Vanish. Why is this a 14th level feature? Is my thoughts here. Hide as a bonus action, can't be tracked by non-magical means. That's fun. That is great. Why is it a level 14 feature? This should be a much earlier feature. Feral senses. Can't see. When a creature attacks you and you can't see it, your inability to see it doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls against it. That's fun. Kind of. I don't know. Because, so you're getting blindsight. Oh, well, you're not getting blindsight because you can't be blinded or deafened. You're also aware of the okay. This is fine, I think. You know, this again, it's like entire mechanic gone. Foe Slayer. Once returned, you can add your wisdom modifier to the attack or damage roll. Make against one of your favorite enemies. Why is this the capstone? Now, favorite enemy is useful. Now it's useful. But, you know, it took 20 levels for a feature to be useful. Let's talk about the archetypes now. Hunter! It's customizable. I kind of like that. When you hit a creature weapon attack, the creature takes extra damage if it's below its hit point maximum. I don't like stuff like this that is either reliant on things being at, below hit point maximum or at hit point maximum. I don't like it in TTRPGs. I don't like it in video games because it becomes too unreliant to take advantage of. Now, given, even if you go first, you can only do it once per turn. So you do a first hit, okay, that won't get the extra damage, but it also won't get the extra damage. Second hit, now it doesn't have all its hit points, extra damage. But then what if you miss the first attack? Now you just don't get that. And then it's also like, if it is below hit point maximum, well, now that's, why not just always get it? It's such a slight limitation. Giant Killer. When a larger creature 5 feet hits or misses you with an attack, you can make an opportunity attack. That's fun! That's great! Horde Breaker. When you make an attack, you can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature within 5 feet of it. It's more attacks, but only if there's more enemies to fight. You are only getting this bonus if you are being overwhelmed, which is great. And they have to be 5 feet of each other. I think that's fine because it is very powerful, but limited in a different way. In a way that balances it out. Defensive tactics. Opportunity attacks are made at disadvantage. I mean, again, it's like blanket advantage, blanket disadvantage, but this is only opportunity attacks. So at that point, it's weird. At that point, it's weird because, then you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry as much about opportunity attacks. I think that's still a bit blanket for me. Multi-attack defense. When a creature hits you with an attack, you gain +4 to AC against all subsequent attacks made by that creature for the rest of the turn. That is so strong, since multi-attacks can get crazy, and it is +4 every time. +4 is a lot. This, if you are fighting multiple creatures, this is fine. If the creature has one big attack, this is fine. I think +4 is a bit strong because you get hit twice now. That's +8. They are never going to hit you. Steel Will. Advantage on saving throws against being frightened. I mean, it's better than immunity to frightened. Again, blanket advantage, but it is blanket advantage for a single mechanic. But then at that point, it's like, well, you're having to worry a lot less about the mechanic. What's the difference there between erasing the mechanic that we talked about before? But now, okay, this. I get what they're going for, that you either are ranged ranger or melee ranger. but then you're completely locking into it. When you attack, make a ranged attack against any number of creatures within 10 feet of a point you can see in the weapon's range. Yeah, like, okay. You can use your action to make a melee attack against any number of creatures within 5 feet of you. Yeah, I get what they're going for. I see what they're going for. I like them. I don't like that you have to choose one, because it's like you can't be, I have my ranged options and my melee options, but at the same time I also kind of get it. Cube. 15th level. Evasion. I talked about this with Monk. It's fun. It's too powerful. Stand against the hide. When a hostile creature misses you with a melee attack, you can force that creature to repeat the same attack against another creature other than self of your choice. That's fun. That is really fun. That is something I wish Monk had, but that is really fun. You can use reaction to have the attack's damage. It is your full reaction to get resistance. That is your whole reaction, your only reaction for the turn. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Beastmaster. I think I talked about Druid with like using stat blocks. And then it's like it's gonna be pretty weak. It's gonna be pretty weak eventually. Critical Role and Trinket. Even getting more HP, even getting like, so you have your proficiency bonus, so it's AC, attack rolls, and damage rolls. And so it's a saving throws is proficient in. Its hit point maximum increases by is equal plus or 4 times your range level, whichever is higher. I see what they're going for. It makes it very awkward when you are using the actual stat blocks in the game, and I don't think this is enough buffs for it. Yeah, and I know that there's the argument of I don't want to use this blank stat block and say it's a bear. I want to use a bear. Using this is your thing. This is your thing. Reflavor it as you will. Stat blocks helps streamline the game so much. Being at level 7, when you take your it's like every turn you can verbally command it. You can verbally command it to take attack. This again. When verbally command it, it's your action. Verbally command it to take attack. You have to spend your entire or when you can make one weapon attack. But then it's either you're attacking or your companion is attacking until your 5th level. Is my opinion there. It's one or the other. Yeah, I like. You already have this from favored terrain. It's only extending it to the beast. You can now use a bonus action to command it to dash, disengage, or help. The thing to keep in mind here, because I was running into this trouble in a game. Keep in mind it still only has one action. 11th level, you can make 2 attacks or can use multi-attack. Locked away for so long. Multi-attack actions on the stat block. That can also make it really powerful if it has more than 2 attacks. I guess. But then this. You can also affect your beast companion with your spells. That's really good. That is really good. That is really fun. Working with your beast companion. I like that. All right. Rogue, finally. Expertise. I talked about this. It breaks the game. It breaks the game. Oh, what? I have expertise in thieves' tools. I mean that's the only case where it really feels good, because some locks get incredibly high DCs, but at the same time, you are getting to a point where, you know, feasibly, expertise in thieves tools. Oh gosh, damn it! Expertise in thieves tools. And then you have 5 in dexterity. That is 17 plus 17 to a check. You are most likely going to be making every check. Expertise breaks the game. Sneak attack. I like. The rules are a bit confusing, but I get like why they are the way they are. I like sneak attack. Sneak attack's fun. It lets rogues be viable in combat, even though they only have 1 attack per turn. It maybe goes a bit high, is my only notes. And it's like it is a demonstration of why a ranger feels weak, and it's because everything D&D's mechanics are so combat focused that everything kind of has to revolve around combat, and ranger didn't. Thieves can't. This makes more sense than druidic. I don't know. I don't feel like you need to have this massive feature. Just say thieves can't. All right, now cutting action. You can take a bonus action to dash, disengage, or hide. Just letting rogues be roguey and like sneaky and stuff. I having them have dash kind of breaks. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? God damn it. It breaks the illusion a little bit because now it's like I'm going 90 feet around. It's like why can't the fighter who's like a professional athlete do that? Yeah, but that's my notes there. I disengage or hide. That's just fun. You're sneaky. Uncanny dodge. You can use your reaction to halve the damage. I don't get how that's necessarily a dodge, because a dodge would be I am ignoring your damage because you missed. But it's a fun feature. It takes your reaction. Evasion we've talked about. Reliable talent. Another game breaking thing. You just treat as a 10. And then this is especially bad if your DM rules that nat ones are not failures on checks. Looking at you, Matt Mercer, because here's the thing: if you can't roll lower than a 10, especially with expertise, it's ridiculous. Blind sense. If you're able to hear, you're aware of the location of any hidden or invisible creatures in 10 feet of you. You're using your other senses, but why would rogues have this feature? Why not a ranger? Well, rangers do get a similar thing, but you get my point. Why is this a rogue thing? Is all. It's a fun feature, and it doesn't, unlike the ranger feature, it doesn't make invisibility useless. But yeah. Slippery mind. You gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. A bit weak for a 15th level feature. I like the name of it, and that kind of ties it in, but it's a bit weak for a level 15 feature. Elusive. You're so evasive, no attack rolls has advantage on you while you are incapacitated. Advantage is strong. Nullifying advantage. It also breaks the illusion a bit in a different way, where it's like, what if it is advantage because you're restrained? How is, you're so evasive? You're tied down. You're tied down. How? I don't get it. Level 20, you have an uncanny knack for succeeding when you need to. If your attack misses a target within range, you can turn it into a hit. Oh, alternatively, if you fail to check, you can treat it as a 20. Once per short or long rest. No, I like that. That's fun. Because it's once per short or long rest. Nat 20s. It depends on. I would say maybe not a 20. Maybe not nat 20, because it depends on the ruling of the GM. D20s nat 20s may give players additional information, but All right, but roguish archetype. Thief. When you can use your cunning action to try and steal. The thing I don't like about this wording is that you're obviously meant to pickpocket, but the game can't call that out. Use an object. Yeah, makes sense. Or to use these tools. Yeah, this makes sense. Like you're more thievy. Um, second story work. You gain climbing speed, and yeah, just like thief stuff. You have advantage on dexterity checks if you move more than half your speed on the same turn. Conditional advantage. What a concept. And then yeah, like moving no more than half your speed because you're kind of like you're bracing yourself and you're not you are making sure you are stealthy. Um and so yeah, I like that. Use magical device. You ignore all requirements for magic items. That's fun. That's fun in its own way. I like that. I like that. I don't get why. Or okay, sorry, brain lost focus because I again defaulted to like. But wait, this is you get to use a magic item and your bonus. No. Um, I like that for thief because it's like, you just steal stuff. Oh, who cares? Yeah, you're tricking the item. I like it. When you reach 17th level, you can take 2 turns during your first round of combat. This is kind of crazy. It's also the first round of combat. It's going to be every round. Thief is underutilized. Most people are running like assassins or stuff when they run rogue. Thief is underutilized, but also this is the capstone. I don't know how I feel about this. Because 2 turns is crazy, but it's only first turn. But also only first turn is... Yeah, it's just very weird. It's just very weird. I don't know my feelings on it. Alright, Assassin. Disguise and Poisoner's Kit flavor feature. Assassinate. You have advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken its turn in combat yet. The thing about that is like that can be either like everyone or no one. If you get an ambush off, great. In addition, any score against a surprise creature is a critical hit. That's powerful, but they need to be surprised. You can ambush, it's surprised, it's a critical hit, boom. I don't know. Like it has its drawbacks, but it also has its bonuses. I think this is a good example of a well-made feature. Infiltration expertise. You mean a completely RP ability that is going to have like not much mechanical stuff to it, and it's an entire class feature. Like that's a problem with this ability. Is that it is an entire level feature, and when does this come up? Unless you are being an actual assassin. But on top of that, at that point, if you are being an actual assassin, why are you working with these chumps? You know. Imposter. You can like again, and like I get why this is an assassin feature. So you have fake identities that you can fall back on. This I don't get. This I don't get. And it's kind of the same problems as infiltration expertise. But let's talk about the capstone. 17th level, when you attack and hit a creature that is surprised, let's make a constitution saving throw. On a failed save, double the damage. This has a very high power level because keep in mind, if you are hitting a surprise creature, it's a crit. But they have to, like, I like, say this is a safer suck feature. You're still doing a critical hit. It's just, do you double the crit on top of that? So I like that. It is insanely powerful in a very specific circumstance. All right, Arcane Trickster. 1/3 caster. Mage Hand, 2 other cantrips. Okay. My only thing is like Mage Hand is such a focus of this class, and it's like the times I've seen arcane tricksters, they're not using mage hand much. Yeah, when you cast mage hand, you can make it invisible, and you can do extra things with it, like these tools to pick locks. That makes sense. These two are you can pickpocket. Yeah, that makes sense. You can store one object the hand is holding it. Why is this not a mage hand feature? Like, it's a hand. Why can you not do this? These, kind of make sense, because why would a wizard want to do these types of things? But also, why couldn't a wizard do these types of things? And this didn't need to be a rule. Well, I guess it's good that they're specifying it, but it didn't need to be a rule, because this is just, you're making a sleight of hand check to make sure they're not noticing you're doing stuff. That is the definition of sleight of hand. Cunning action, bonus action to control the hand. Right? Love it. I love it. No notes. 9th level, you're hidden from creatures when you cast a spell on it. They have disadvantage on the saving throw. With a rogue that can be really powerful, hidden every turn, you have disadvantage on it every turn, blah, 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 blah. But then why is something like this not a standard feature? If I don't know a fireball is coming, how am I not already at disadvantage to save from it? Doesn't matter if it's a arcane trickster or a wizard. If I don't know the fireball's coming, shouldn't I already have disadvantage? Versatile trickster. You can distract targets with mage hand. Doing so gives you attack rolls, which gives you sneak attack. I love this feature. I love it. It is such a useful thing. Oh, spell thief. Spell thief, spell thief, spell thief. I love it. I love it. Immediately after a creature casts a spell that targets you or includes you in its area, you can force the creature to make a saving throw against your spell save DC. On a fail, you negate it, and you steal the knowledge of the spell for 8 hours. This is fun. I love this feature. It is so fun. No notes. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's just brilliant. I think what I would do is I would you can only you can keep trying it until it's used successfully. But I love it. It is brilliant. I love it. Alrighty. Sorcerer. Yay, sorcerer. Okay, so sorcerer, charisma caster. Kind of makes sense, because what else would you put on I just do magic myself. I've heard the argument that sorcerers should use Constitution, but for 1 point, there is no other examples of Constitution being used to spellcast. It is always Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma. And as a secondary point, that is very specific to Brain. Come on, please. That is going to be very specific to wild magic sorcerers who are specifically trying to keep their magic in, not other sorcerers who are trying to let it out. Sorcerer's Origin, 1st level, makes sense. Font of Magic, sorcery points. This, all it is you get more spell. You basically get another spell slot at first, because you can use a bonus action to turn your 2 sorcery points into a spell slot. Yay. Here's where it gets fun. With the meta magic, that you can just do stuff with spells. My question is, why is this sorcerer specific things? It feels like something that they had to give sorcerer something as a base class thing. Why can't wizard? Why can't wizard? And I mean, to go over these, you can give your allies advantage on a saving throw against your spell. I fireball into the room, you guys have advantage. Or oh no, automatically succeeds. Yeah, no, you're helping your allies. That's great. Distance spell. You can extend the range. That's fun. And you can send a touch spell up to 30 feet. Yeah, that's fun. Empowered spell. You can re-roll damage dice. Yeah. Extended spell. You can double the duration. Okay. Heightened spell. You can give one target disadvantage for 3 sorcery points. That is well balanced. Quicken spell is too strong, honestly, because it's like, why wouldn't you pick up Quicken Spell? Why wouldn't you use Quicken Spell at most opportunities? Action economies, so on and so forth. It's a bit powerful. It costs 2. I honestly would make it cost more, probably, myself. Subtle Spell, cast without somatic or verbal components. That is... The thing there is this is completely... Because it's... The thing is, this is a flavor ability, and it makes sense to, like, oh, I'm casting my spell subtly. They have to express it in a weird way, is what I'm going off of here. Twin spell, make it hit multiple targets if it couldn't already hit one target. Yeah, makes sense. And then you just get more. At 20th level, you gain 4 back when you finish a short rest. That is a stupid capstone. That's weak. That's weak. That's so weak. Oh my gosh. Even for dungeon delving mechanics, we need to short rest more. That is so weak. But now Sorcerer's Origins. Draconic Bloodline. Gee, I wonder why I am excited for dragon stuff. Choose a damage type, learn Draconic, and flavor feature. You add your double your proficiency bonus to talk with dragons. Yeah, that's fun. First level, hit point maximum by 1, mini toughness, and then, you have scales. That's fun. That is fun. Dragon toughness, dragon scales. Yeah, no notes. 6th level, when you cast a spell that deals damage type associated with dragon arm, you can add your charisma modifier to 1 damage roll of the spell. Buying into, I want to do this element damage. At the same time, spend 1 sorcery point to gain resistance to that type of damage. Okay, like the dragon's resistance. Level 14, Dragon Wings. Fun! This is fun! I love it! Level 18. 5 sorcery points for 1 minute. Oh, I didn't realize this was a concentration effect. Each hostile creature that starts its turn. Oh, it's a concentration aura. But then it's a one-time save and they're done. This is a weak capstone to what is otherwise a fantastic subclass. I love this subclass. I love it. It's like to call out the guy who kind of taught me 5e. Why wouldn't you wild magic sorcerer? Because I wanted to be a freaking dragon. I don't want to do chaos shit. I want to be a freaking dragon. All right, wild magic. This is a flavor feature. I think the problem is, like, people pick wild magic sorcerer to have the fun wild magic shenanigans, and it is so hard to have the fun wild magic shenanigans. Because then it's like, tides of chaos. Well, let's talk about tides of chaos, and then we'll go back to that. Because like, you gain advantage on 1 roll. It's advantage powerful 1 roll. And then it has a recharge of long rest, except you can just, instead of needing to get a 5% chance, you just get the wild magic surge. This, I would say, that is a little bit powerful if that. Okay, I was gonna say it's a little bit powerful because you could just basically have infinite tides of chaos, but it comes down to the DM. It comes down to the DM and the DM being like, okay, this is fun. You can have your wild magic surge as a reward. It is helping the DM and the player build the story. I think it is possibly a bit exploitable because it is a bit exploitable, but because it is between two people, you are like this. It's mainly going to be used as a way to let's wild magic surge at fun opportunities. DM, tell me when to wild magic surge, kind of deal, and you get something out of it. Otherwise, my notes on wild magic surge. There's a homebrew I saw that's like it goes up by 1 whenever it fails, whenever you succeed the saving throw. So that it starts at 1, you succeed the saving throw, it goes up to 2, goes up to 3, that just so you can have more fun with it. Bend luck. You have the ability to twist fate with your mild magic. I like how it's luck based. That is something I borrowed for my own system for Dragonfall. Another creature makes an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, 2 sorcery points for 1d4. That is a steep cost. 1d4 can make all the difference, but it can also do nothing. This is basically you're using it if it is a very close roll. And in that case, the 2 sorcery points do make sense because it is basically like because you probably wouldn't use this if it's within 4, but you're going to use it if it's like definitely within 1, probably within 2, maybe within 3, probably not within 4. The possibility gets steeper the higher it is. So at that point, the 2 sorcery point cost makes sense. Because when you are most likely to use it, you are most likely to succeed with it. So yeah, no, I get the sorcery point cost. Maybe use it once for free, but otherwise, I get it. Whenever you roll, you can roll twice and use either number. My point of this is like, no, because then it lets you use ones that are more beneficial to you at the time, or at least like at least the ones that are the least likely to screw you up. Level 18. When you roll damage for a spell and roll the highest number possible on any of the dice, choose one of those dice, roll it again, add the roll to the damage. A single reroll is a single like additional die is a bit weak for a capstone. It's a bit weak as a capstone, and especially because you already have to roll the highest number on one of your dice, which with high enough pools of damage is possible, but it is still, you may not get to use this. And it's only like, 1d6 extra on a fireball, But yeah, the idea is there. I think the execution failed. Oh, the Wild Magic Surge table. I think, it's good that they have something like this. I hate that it is specifically only here in the sorcerers. So that way you always have to go to the sorcerer. This isn't a resource that other classes can reference as much. Let's go over the so another little complaint is that it's not a true 100 table, it's a 50 table because each result is 2. Let's go over each of these in succession, actually starting from the top. Just because you saw the 1 to 2, but I want to save that one. All right, 99 to 100. You regain all sorcery points. That is good as a sorcerer, but it's like, okay, we use this table for something else. What the heck do I give the wizard? And then it's also like, it's not that much of a benefit. You are surrounded by faint ethereal music for the next minute. That's nothing. That's not even that's You and all creatures gain vulnerability to piercing damage. That is the type of messy chaos we are looking for, because it's just throwing something out there. Now the entire battlefield's different because of this. Well, unless no one has piercing damage, but you get my point. Your size increases by 1 category. Oh, like I'm bigger. Okay. It doesn't have too much mechanical benefit. But otherwise, yeah. Like if you die within the next minute, you immediately come back to life. That is it might do nothing. It might do everything. It might save your bacon. like it might just be a completely useless roll, and that will always suck. That's why I was kind of like about this, but at the same time, like sometimes the only flavor effects are fun. You become invisible. During that time, other creatures can't hear you. That is silly. You just kind of disappeared. It's like, what's going on? A random creature flies now. Again, wacky shenanigans. You cast mirror image. Wacky shenanigans and beneficial, that one. Each creature takes necrotic damage. You regain hit points. Wacky shenanigans, but like we're kind of like most of this stuff is beneficial. You can take an additional action. Very beneficial. Wacky shenanigans. Illusionary butterflies and flower petals. Wacky shenanigans flavor. Cast polymorph as a sheep. Become a sheep. Yeah. How many times am I gonna say wacky shenanigans? You glow. Everyone in 5 feet of you is blinded. Random creature becomes poisoned for hours. Of course, might do nothing because poison immunity is so freaking common. Resistance to all damage for the next minute. Each creature becomes invisible for the next minute, including your enemies and allies. That is just complete chaos. You are frightened by the nearest creature. That is nasty. Up to 3 creatures. You choose. At that point, because it is up to 3 creatures within 30 feet of you, presumably you are choosing then take a bunch of lightning damage. Fog cloud centered on yourself. That can actually be really annoying. For the next minute, you must shout when you speak. Again, it's like wacky shenanigans. This could also get very annoying at a table because now the player is forced to shout. Or might be forced to shout, or at least is forced to shout as their character. Lowest level extended spell slot doesn't do much. Any flammable object you touch bursts into flames. Hair falls out and regrows. I mean, it's like it's fun that we have these flavor features. These like they're not actually having mechanical benefits, but it's also like when it's contrasted to +2 AC and immunity to magic missile. Being immune to alcohol for a few days. Can't speak. Tiny bubbles fall out of your mouth. This could have a very powerful mechanical thing where you are not able to do verbal components. That's a scary thing about this one. A unicorn appears. That could change things. Cast levitate on yourself. That's silly. That's flavorful, but also has a benefit. You can teleport as a bonus action. Flavorful, funny, has a thing. Oh, the potted plant. Oh, the potted plant. This is so silly and very annoying sometimes. Regain hit points. Flumps. They're not going to be as useful as a unicorn. Useful or harmful as a unicorn. This, I mean, I think that, well, for one, if the roll is odd, you get younger. If the roll is even, you get older. I don't like that because that is not in the nature of chaos. But yeah, I mean, it makes more sense than butterfly. It does more than butterfly. That this is the type of non-mechanical effect that we kind of need. Maximize the next spell damage. Whew! You're transported to the astral plane for 1 turn. Oof. Teleport once. Yeah. All spells with a casting time. Ooh, that is powerful. We kind of went over this with Oath of the Ancients, but because this is a random chance, I like that more. Eye appears on your forehead, giving you advantage on checks relying to sight. I don't get this would not be too useful most of the time because you're not. It's 1 minute, and you're likely not trying to see things well in the middle of combat. The blue. It's like the problem with the hair thing, or the problem with the hair thing, or the music is that that doesn't change anything. The blue changes things, and the blue is fun, and you can play off the blue. Yeah, like anyone watch Rolling with Difficulty? Creatures have disadvantage on saving throws against the next spell you cast in a minute that involves a saving throw. Yeah, okay. You cast Grease. Grow long beard of feathers. Mm, it may have an impact on the game, may not. Regain 5 hit points at the start of each of your turns for the next minute. That just makes the other one weak, though. That just makes it weak. You cast Confusion centered on yourself. That one can cause a lot of chaos. Again, it's like your height changes. Same thing as the age and the blue. It's something you can play off of. But again, like the age, I don't like this. Magic Missile as a 5th level spell. Just I bet that's fun. That's silly. You cast Fireball as a 3rd level spell, centered on yourself, which means you're caught in that. Which means that's detrimental. You just blow up. Modron Call, chosen by the DM, appears and then disappears 1 minute later. Modron might not do much. You can see any invisible creature you have line of sight to. Would be nice if, you could do this on command. Kind of like the eye thing. And then the 1 to 2. Just keep rolling every turn for a minute, 10 rounds. That's fun. That's real fun. Alrighty. Next up is Warlock. Warlock. I have a bone to pick with Warlock. The first is, this is so specific. You need to work some way to have Warlocks into a setting. You can't just, like sorcerers, wizards, stuff like that. They can all be built around the setting. This part of the setting needs to be built around Warlocks. Is kind of the annoying part here. The spell slots. This is an internal debate. It's very weird. You recharge them on short rests, but you only get limited amounts. It's an eternal debate, I think. Eldritch Invocations. They're fun. They allow Warlock to be super customizable. Same as the Pact Boon. You can get Find Familiar. I don't get why this is an entire pact on the level of, do you want to be Blade Warlock or Spell Warlock? But that's just my note there. I don't get why it's entirely its own thing. Yeah, I don't get it. Sorry. Sorry about that. Mystic Arcanum, aka how Warlocks do higher level spells than 5th. It is a neat way to come about with like how the mechanics Warlocks already have, but at the same time, it just like kind of highlights their weirdness. You can spend 1 minute to get your spell slots back instead of the hour-long rest. Shrug. It's again, it's like trying to fix Warlock's spell slot deal. All right, let's talk about the patrons. Archfey. This is so confusing because cleric. How that works is, yeah, you just get these spells. How Warlock works is, yeah, you can learn these spells because we're a learn caster. But let's talk about them. Fairy Fire, in the name, yeah, that makes sense for Archfey. Sleep, yeah. Calm Emotions, kind of makes sense. Phantasmal Force. The thing is, Phantasmal Force is, I mean, I guess it kind of makes fairy tale sense. So yeah, of like oh, you're seeing things. Calm Emotions makes sense. Just like emotional changing magic stuff. That sounds fey. Blink, teleporting everywhere. Why is that a? I mean, Fae do weird stuff. I don't get why Blink specifically. Plant growth. I get that D&D associates Fae with nature. It's just a little bit of a weird feeling for me because I kind of associate Fae more of like the idea of trickery, not nature so strongly. But that's just me. But I mean, like, so here's the thing. Here's the good thing about these over cleric and paladins. is that you don't have to get plant growth, and plant growth isn't going to be just sitting there being a useless, dumb spell that you're never going to use because it's off flavor for you. All right, Dominate Beast. Again, what we were talking about with plant growth. Greater invisibility. What I was talking about. Fade with trickery. Perfect sense. Dominate person. Perfect sense. Trickery. Seeming. The ultimate illusion disguise cell. Yeah, it makes perfect sense for Fae. Fae presence. You can, as an action, you can cause a 10-foot cube. Wisdom saving throw against your warlock's DC. On a, all creatures that failed their save are charmed or frightened. Once again, it's like, what about having a thing that happens if they fail? So that way it's not I spend my action to do this thing that didn't work. Or, oh well, they're immune to both of those. It's like some stuff in D&D has Misty Escape. I love this one. At 6th level, you can vanish in a puff of mist in response to harm. When you take damage, you can use the reaction to turn invisible and teleport 60 feet. You remain invisible until the start of your next turn, or you attack or cast a spell. I love this. This is just like, nope, I'm gone. I'm gone. You don't even know where I am, sucker. I love it. It's brilliant. Beguiling defenses. If you're immune to being charmed, now hear me out because I've talked about my dislike of immunity to features, to conditions before. But when another creature attempts to charm you, you can use your reaction to attempt to charm that creature back. Must succeed a wisdom saving throw or be charmed of you. I give this feature a slight slack. I wish it would be advantage against charmed. And I know, blanket advantage. But it is because I don't know. Like, yeah, my blanket advantage feelings. Yeah. But in either way, the idea of you can reverse the charm effect onto them. I think what sucks is that a lot of time, when are you going to be charmed? How often does this come up? And what if they're immune to charmed? Yeah. On paper, this is a fun feature. In practice, it might not get much use ever, if at all. 14th level, Dark Delirium. At 14th level, you can plunge a creature into an illusionary realm. As an action, choose a creature you can see within 60 feet of you. It makes a wisdom save against your warlock spell save DC. On a fail, it is charmed or frightened for 1 minute until concentration is broken. Given that let us. Oh. Yeah, why is this concentration? Because the only effect is that it can only see you itself in the illusion. And the short or long rest recharge. No, I'm turned around on this real quick. Because I forgot exactly what it did. It does very little. It does very little. It's your whole action to use. What if they succeed? What if, they activate this? The most fun you could get out of it is pulling a Mysterio and oh, you're frightened of me, run away, and then they run into a wall because they can't see it. That's kind of fun, but it's also it's not doing much. Alright, Fiend. Burning Hands. Fiend's usually associated with fire, makes sense. Command. More of a both of these more of a devilly thing when you know the D&D lore. Blindness, deafness. I don't quite get. I also hate how it's the same spell. But at the same time I get it because how do you work blinded and deafened as conditions? Scorching Ray, fire, yeah. Fireball, yes, makes sense. Stinking Cloud. I guess sulfur and stuff. Fire Shield, Wall of Fire, fire. Flame Strike. If it wasn't radiant damage, I would have no notes. The radiant damage is the only thing making me hesitate. But also, excuse me again. But also, fire. I understand why this is here. And then Hollow. At first, I would think why, but then I can remember you can desecrate with Hollow. You can do the opposite with Hollow, so that makes perfect sense. Dark One's Blessings. When you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier plus your warlock level. I mean, like, you know, this is a feature later game. How often are you gonna get this off? You know, like taking out a creature might end the fight. You know, you taking out the creature would end the fight. Early game, when like other creatures are dropping like flies, you're not getting as much of a benefit out of it. Late game, you in a good way might not be getting too much out of it. So I think this is just really well balanced by the way encounter balance works. And you know, like I think it also works for fiends because it's like, you know, tough power, survival of the fittest. You gotta take out all the weaklings. It makes sense. It makes sense in flavor. In a way. In a way. Dark One's Own Luck. 6th level, you can call upon your patron to alter fate in your favor. When you make an ability check or a saving throw, you can use it to add 1d10 to your roll. I don't get how this is feat. I mean, I guess, like, you know, classic stories of deals with devils that, like, inspired the entire Warlock class. Fiendish Resilience. When you finish a short or long rest, you get a resistance to a damage type. Again, it's like, you know, how is this a fiend thing? How is this a fiend thing? But then, hurl through hell. It's a fun name. When you hit a creature with an attack, you can, and it's like you hit a creature with an attack. You don't make it make a saving throw. You hit it with an attack, and you send it to hell, and then it's gone until the end of your next turn, which, given turn economy, makes it miss an entire turn. Comes back, and if it's not a fiend, takes a ton of damage. I love it. I love Hurl Through Hell. I love this feature. It's fun. All right. Great Old One. Let's look at the spells first. Dissonant Whispers. You know, the Great Old One is the Lovecraft patron, Cthulhu. Wait, what? Oh, Cthulhu's not listening. Oh yeah, the Great Cthulhu. You know, this is your patron is the Lovecraftian horror. So Dissonant Whispers makes perfect sense. Hideous Laughter, I don't get. I mean, like, if you want to reflavor it, then it makes sense, but why Hideous Laughter? Detect Thoughts makes perfect sense. Phantasmal Force, perfect sense. Clairvoyance. Doesn't quite make sense. Sending. Psychic stuff, yeah. Dominate Beast. It makes sense because you are taking control of a beast. But because it's like domination stuff. And I guess that's why Archfey had it too. Black Tentacles. Lovecraftian, you know, even if it's like not psychic stuff, you know, it's still on flavor. And, you know, again, this is an expanded spell list. This is not you get these spells. So you can choose to not have this if you just want a psychic patron. Dominate Person? Yeah. Telekinesis? Yeah. Psionics. All right, and let's look at the features. You can speak telepathically to any creature in 30 feet of you. This is an RP feature. They need a mechanical feature, I think. But otherwise, you know, it's like it's fine. You know, you don't even need to share a language. But I think it needs they need something more mechanical than telepathy. Here's the fun stuff. I remember some of Old One being fun. Entropic Ward. Magically ward yourself against attack. Turn the enemy's failed strike into good luck for yourself. When a creature makes an attack roll, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on that roll. If the attack misses you, your next attack roll against that creature has advantage. The wording does not provide enough flavor, but I love how, like, the way to do this instead is you are basically like getting a glimpse into this creature's mind, knowing how it's going to try and hit you, and then you can use that glimpse to your advantage. And this one's for short or long rest. I like it. It's fine. Thought Shield's the real fun one. 10th level, your thoughts can't be read by telepathy or other means unless you allow it. You have resistance to psychic damage. And whenever a creature deals psychic damage to you, that creature takes the same amount of damage that you do. Blanket resistances or, like stuff like that, I'm usually skeptical about it. This one, you're basically sharing all the psychic damage you take. And so because of that, I am more forgiving of this blanket resistance, because it is you are taking half psychic damage because you are sharing it. That I like. Create Thrall. You can use your action to touch an incapacitated humanoid. Is charmed by you. What if they're immune to charmed? Until a remove curse spell. It's way too easy to remove curses. You can communicate telepathically with the charmed creature as long as it's fine, but it's also like, what are you really doing with this? Like, how much are you getting out of it? Plus, it can also have some really creepy implications for some players. Some people need to never touch this subclass because they would do bad things with it, and I hope their group calls them out. Yeah. But now we're getting into the invocations. Agonizing Blast. The one that is so good, why would you not take it? It turns Eldritch Blast into something super ridiculously powerful. Armor of Shadows. You can cast Mage Armor on yourself at will. That I kind of like. So here's the thing. If the invocations that are at will, I give some slack because it allows warlocks to pick utility spells, because especially learn casters have little incentive to pick up utility spells. But then it's like you have such limited spell slots, you have no incentive to get utility spells. Yeah, get Mage Armor for free. And also as a warlock, you could just wear armor. You could just wear actual armor. So this is like, I don't want to wear armor, but I want to be a warlock. Yeah. Levitate. Levitate doesn't have too many uses. I kind of like, at will levitate. Speak with animals at will. Utility spell. Oh, beguiling influence. Let's check the warlock proficiency, shall we? Arcana, deception, history, intimidation, investigation, nature, and religion. Why don't they have persuasion as charisma casters? You have to pick up an invocation. And then at that point, if you want to be a persuasive warlock, if you want persuasion and deception, you would get a background or something that would give it to you, so you don't need this invocation. All right, Bewitching Whispers. You can cast Compulsion once using a Warlock spell slot. The things like this, I don't know if Compulsion's on the Warlock spell list, but the things like this, where you cast it with a Warlock spell slot, it saves on your learned spells, and it allows like some of the Warlock class weirdness to have some fun. So it's like, yeah, it's the trade-off of, you're saving your spell, but you're saving a learn slot, but you're still using a spell slot. Book of Ancient Secrets. You can do ritual spells now. Okay. Ritual spells are great, but it's such a weird mechanic. Chains of Carcerai. Oh, Pact of the Chain is having to be justified as its own thing. So I'm joking about that. If you want to go Pact of the Chain, do it. We love a Pate de Rolo. We love a Star Drop. But it's like you can only target a celestial fiend or elemental once per long rest with a free spell slot, or with the free cast. Mhm. Eh. I see what they're doing with like some of the Pact of the Chain stuff, trying to like because the book gets specific ones, the blade gets specific ones. Devil's Sight. I think this should have a level requirement on it personally, because like magical darkness. Now we're ignoring a mechanic. 120 feet. That's kind of crazy. It's not ridiculous because it's only 120 feet. It's not infinite dark vision, but it's still like, I think it should be a higher level requirement as well. I mean, confusion. Yeah, detect magic at will. Utility spell. Eldritch Blast has a range of 300 feet. You mean you're basically gonna hit with Eldritch Blast? It's like this one is almost agonizing blast levels. All right. Eyes of the Runekeeper. You can read all writing. Okay, that's fun. False Life at will as a first level spell. They need to specify that because you can level up. You can use higher spell slots on False Life. Just okay. Temp HP. Let's go. Gaze of the Two Minds, so you can see through another creature. Yeah. No, okay, neat. That's fun. That's fun. That can also be utility. Life Drinker with Pact of the Blade. Extra necrotic damage equal to your charisma modifier. That is fine because you're not using your charisma on your weapon until Hexblade became a thing. Oh man, until Hexblade became a thing. Because, let's talk about this, because Hexblade's curse, and when I'm doing these number things, I'm always checking at highest level to just show how high this stuff gets. Hexblade's curse, you're using charisma. So that is +5, maybe +6. Then you're adding your charisma again, another +5 to +6. And on top of that, your proficiency bonus. So that is 6 plus that is 16 to 18 base damage. That's kind of crazy. However, counterpoint, I just remembered, this would be Warlock's way of keeping up with Rage, with improved Divine Smite, with fighters and monks getting extra attacks. No, actually, never mind. This is not too ridiculous because, yeah. With Hexblade, it's still crazy, but this is Blade Lock's way of keeping up. Mask of Many Faces, yep. Alter Self. I mean, it's kind of just like Mask of Many Faces. Conjure Elemental. You mean the summon spells that use a stat block and are therefore kind of weird? Slow, yep. Silent Image, utility. One with the shadows. You can use an action to become invisible until you move or take. So this is basically not useful. Jump, utility spell, yeah. Repelling Blast. These are the fun Eldritch Blast ones. You can push it away. Fun. Polymorph. Yeah. Bestow Curse. Why is this not just a Warlock spell slot? And also, kind of coming up on well, I guess you can get some of the extra duration from Bestow Curse. Bestow Curse is also weird because it's very specific curses. It's like, well, what if I want to make my own curse? Bane. Bane is fun. Yep. Yeah, Warlocks don't normally get 2 attacks. Makes sense. Arcane Eye at will. It's a utility spell. So even though it is a 4th level spell, you're not gonna be like getting a ton out of it. It's just okay, Arcane Eye, you can spy on a bunch of things. You can talk through your familiar. Huh. I mean, again, it's kind of what I'm talking about. Pact of the Chain is having these features are weird for Pact of the Chain versus book, and and I know I gave the ritual one for the Pact of the Tome a bit of shit, but it's just like, most other classes can just ritual cast on their own, and then here's Warlock. You have to be Pact of the Tome and take an invocation to ritual cast. But the advantage of that there is also you can just learn ritual spells to have in a ritual book. So yeah, so sorry for giving it a bit of shit. I'm just trying to get through invocations quickly. Voice of the Chainmaster. I mean, this is fun. I get it, but it's also not doing much. Speak with dead at will. It's utility. And then Witch Sight. You can see the form of any shape changer concealed by illusion or transmutation magic. Yeah. Yeah. You know, like that is a fun feature that's just like, hey, I know you're not who you say you are. All right. We're almost up on time. However, I do want to get through Wizard. We have 10 minutes. I'm gonna go however long it takes to get Wizard. All right. So, spellcaster. Okay. Spell book. Wizards work so differently than other casters because you have to put your spells in your book. This costs money. And then you prep from your book. And on top of that, it's a bit of weirdness because you ritual cast from your book. It is such a unique way of working compared to the other spellcasters that's kind of weird. Arcane Recovery. Why do more classes not... it's like, it's only wizards and land druids that get this, where you can just get spell slots back on a short rest. Either have more classes have it or don't have this feature at all, I think. Second level feature, and then it's kind of nothing for a while because that's a lot of your subclass features coming in. At 18th level, choose a first level spell and a second level spell in your spellbook. You can cast them at their lowest level without expending spell slots while you have them prepared. I mean, it's only first and second level, which I think is the balancing factor. Even a second level shatter can still be dangerous at higher levels, but your fighters, well, no, because second level shatter is what? That's like about 3d8. It's about as much as it's still less than the fighter's doing. So yeah, no, having like reliable options makes sense. And then signature spell, you can choose a third level. Okay, fireball. It's like always have these spells. Oh, choose 2 third levels. Always have them prepared. They don't count against spells you have prepared. You cast them, each of them once at a third level without spell slot. Oh, so it's not spellmaster. Okay. Yeah, no, this is like, I have just like these are my signature spells. I've locked them in so much. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Now let's go through these. The wizard subclasses. Every one of them in sorry. Every one of them has these features. You're better at learning these wizard spells up to school. Okay. Arcane Ward. When you cast an abjuration spell, you can simultaneously use a strand of spells magic to create a magical ward on yourself. The ward has a maximum. So it's basically you can create like not quite temporary hit points, but you have a ward that you can reduce damage. Whenever you take damage, the ward takes damage instead. I mean, I get why it's not temp HP, because temp HP you can't refill. But this is functionally temp HP. When you cut twice the level of that spell. Okay, so it's when you first cast an abjuration spell at first level or higher. That lasted. So the word has a ton of hit points when you first cast it, and then just regains a little bit more when you cast. I kind of get that. Projected ward. You can use your ward to help other creatures. Yeah. Improved abjuration. When you let's keep in mind what this is saying. It's saying when you counterspell or dispel magic after a proficiency bonus. That's what it's saying. And like at that point, it's like this is fine. You're buying into the abjuration spells. Yeah, make you better at the meta magic stuff. It can get ridiculous because keep in mind that's like, +9 to a counterspell roll. That can get crazy. That can be like, what's the point of casting spells? Point. But also it's like, it's buying into the feature. I would need to see it more in action to see how scary it gets. Advantage on saving throws against spells and resistance to damage spells. I mean, I get it. You're doing the protective magic, but at the same time, blanket resistance, blanket advantage, and also like moving forward, some that might not even matter. All right, conjuration is very weird. Let's talk about that. And you can conjure an inanimate object into your hand or on the ground. Okay, that's fun. I make a thing. Benign transportation. What does teleportation have to do with conjuration? And now, I have not looked at the schools well enough, so I am not sure if, say, brain, please. I am not sure if the teleportation spells are already conjuration. But the thing is here, creatures willing you both. Yeah, like, why teleportation and conjuration? It doesn't make sense to me. While you concentrate, your concentration can't be broken as a result of taking damage. You're buying into the conjuration. You want your summons to last. Concentration's, well, I don't have to worry about concentration. Concentration is, like, as annoying as concentration is, it's like, being able to blatantly ignore it always is gonna feel really eh. And then it's also like, it's just this it's cool, but it also is like annoying me just because it's ignoring a mechanic. And I know specific beats, like specific beats general is a good way to take RPGs, but concentration exists for a reason. And so being able to ignore the mechanic of concentration just feels like a slap in the face, especially to summoners if you are not. Well, it's a slap in the face to every other class that is still struggling with concentration. It's a slap in the face to like shepherd druids that still have to worry about concentration. Any creature you summon or create has 30 temp HP. Pretty weak. That's it can take one extra attack. Yeah. All right. Divination. Oh boy, portent. Portent is really fun. It is really neat. It can get really strong. It can, like you can only use the foretell roll once. I the thing is I like portent. It's not like I dislike portent. I think it's just that it's a bad experience with a single character. I think why I'm hesitating on portent. Otherwise, like objectively, portent's really fun. Yeah, no, I like portent. I just have a bad experience with it. Expert divination, 6th level, casting only fraction. When you cast a divination spell or higher using a spell slot, you regain 1 expended spell slot. Must be a lower level of the spell you cast. Can't be higher than 5th level. That's just really strong. That is like you don't have to worry nearly as much about spell slots. I think that is a bit more than needed. Yeah. The third eye. I like this one. You can use your action to increase the powers of perception. I mean, it's using an action, but you're likely using it. You're likely using it out of combat, so action economy doesn't matter. Dark vision, range to 60 feet. Great. Like half the options don't have dark vision. Ethereal sight, into the ethereal plane. That's not going to come up very often, but you can just have. Read any language. Wizard, okay, see invisibility. Yeah. These are fun options. Two are more useful than any others, but these are situationally useful. Choose one of the following benefits. Yeah, the problem is you can't change it, but also I kind of get why. And then you get 2 portent dice. All right. No notes. Portent's fun. All right, enchantment. Target second level. As an action, choose one creature within 5 feet of you. Why is the wizard getting in 5 feet? You can see or hear you. Must succeed a wisdom save against your spell save DC or be charmed. No downside. Charms creature speed drop to 0 and is incapacitated. So 5 feet. Okay. Charmed until the end of your next. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. Because this, a 1 turn, you can't do anything. Oh, on subsequent turns, you can use your action to extend this. Yeah. However, the effect ends if you move 5 feet away from the creature. This is like trying to get out of jail free card, but then DC. Spell save and nothing on fail or nothing on success. So it's like, eh. It's not gonna come up much. Is what I'm getting at. Maybe you can use it in RP of like, look into my eyes, you are hypnotized, and since you're charmed, you're going to give us information. It's not gonna come up in combat much though. Is my problem. Alright. Instinctive charm. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to divert the attack to another creature in range. Fun! This is fun. It's a save or suck. The attacker must choose. Yeah. I mean, it's like I get it. It's neat. I don't like that it's a save or suck. If they're immune to charm, they're immune to the effect. Split enchantment. When you cast an enchantment spell, first level or higher, the target's only 1 creature. You can have it target a second creature. Yeah, neat. Alter memories. I mean, I can just sum this up. You can, since most charmed effects, it's like they know you charmed them. This is like, yeah, no, you don't remember. Sorry, and then they can't get on you for it. And yeah, well, they have to succeed a saving throw. Yeah, and in this case as well, because like, oh yeah, you can make it unaware of being charmed, and then you can also make it forget its memory. Okay, so you always get this benefit, and then you can also like make it forget what it did while it was charmed by you, which is, I like that. That is neat flavor feature. And it's like it's a fitting capstone, even if it doesn't do too much. It is a bit weak as a capstone, but it's a fitting capstone. It does good work. All right, evocation. When you cast an evocation spell that affects other creatures that you can see, choose the number of them equal to 1 plus the spell's level, automatically succeed the saving throw, and take no damage. I mean, the problem here is that this just outclasses Careful Spell, but this is also a subclass feature. It's a better Careful Spell, and you can use it for free every time. It takes no resources. That's my notes. This is just better than Careful Spell. Potent cantrips. When a creature succeeds a saving throw against your cantrip, takes half the cantrip's damage. Why not a normal thing cantrips do? Getting of 10th level, you add your intelligence modifier to 1 damage roll of any wizard evocation spell you cast. The fact that it's an evocation spell specifically, although I guess, yeah, because no, never mind. Yeah, why is it specifically evocation spells? Why not just all damage spells? I don't get that. 14th level, you can maximize the damage. You can do that once for fine. but then every time afterwards, you're taking necrotic damage. I think maximizing damage, it's maximizing damage on a 1st or 5th level spell. Never mind, no notes. I like that. And like you can keep using it. It's not a recharge, but you're gonna suffer for it. Oh, it's 2d12 per spell level. And then the third time you use it, it's 3d12 and it keeps going. Yeah, no notes. That is that is actually perfect. School level illusion. You learn the minor illusion cantrip. Or another cantrip. Why would you not have minor illusion at level 1 if you are planning to be an illusion wizard? So, And then you can do both parts of minor illusion at once. I mean, that's a kind of sucky 2nd level feature. Basically comes down to you get an extra cantrip and you're a little bit better at minor illusion. That doesn't do much. At 6th level, any illusion spell with a 1 minute or longer duration, you can change the nature of the illusion. Why can you not just do this? Like I don't get why this isn't a thing you can naturally do. Like if you already have the illusion up, why can't you turn the big dragon illusion you have into a purple worm? I don't get why that needs to be a separate feature. You already have control over the illusion. Begin at 10th level, you can create an illusory duplicate yourself as an instant, almost instinctual reaction to danger. When it makes an attack roll against you, you can interpose the illusory duplicate between the attacker and yourself. 1 free miss. That's a neat illusionist feature. 14th level, when you cast an illusion spell, you can choose 1 inanimate, non-magical object, part of the illusion, and make it real. You can do this on your turn as a bonus action while the spell is ongoing. The object remains real for 1 minute. Really fun. This is really fun and neat and flavorful and on point, and I like it. It's like it doesn't have anything hard rules, but we're playing with illusions. And, like an illusion is real. That is a soft rules mechanic that has a lot of hard rule implications, is what makes that really fun and really useful. Necromancy. Once per turn, when you kill 1 or more creatures with a spell of 1st level or higher, you regain hit points equal to twice the spell's level, or 3 times if it belonged to necromancy. So why can't you use cantrips? This I understand, not killing constructs or undead. They don't have life energy to drain. It's so specific. And then even more specific with a different effect for necromancy spells. 6th level, you add animate dead to your spell book if it's not there already. Why wouldn't you have it? You can target 1 additional corpse. So here's the thing. At first, 1 additional corpse. What's the benefit there? But then, whenever a undead is summoned, extra hit points, equal to wizard level, and it adds proficiency bonus to weapon. Oh shit! Hold on, I need to check something because it is whenever you create an undead using a necromancy spell. Because I am realizing Tasha's summon spells. It's not game breaking by any means, but it is still like really strong. Yeah, that's kind of strong, but it's not game breaking. 10th level, resistance to necrotic damage, and your hit point maximum can't be reduced. Blanket resistance, but the hit point maximum can't be reduced is nice, even though it doesn't come up so much. I like it because it's like, yeah, you're using death magic against me, and that I like the idea of resistance to necrotic. Blanket resistances kind of get crazy. 14th level, you can use magic to bring undead under control, even if they're created by other wizards. That's fun. That is really fun. Makes a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. If it's a zombie, it's probably not going to succeed. I kind of like this being a save or suck because it's like, what are the odds? Uh, it's like you're robbing the other necromancer of their thing. Yeah, it's like charming. I again, like, save or suck. D&D has a problem with save or suck effects, but like, this is neat. I kind of like that, where it's like, if it has intelligence of 8 or higher, it is a more intelligent undead. It has more of a grasp on itself than a zombie. And if it has intelligence 12 or higher, it is like even more of a it's even more like, no, I am my own being. I will not be controlled by you. So yeah, I like this feature. And finally, School of Transmutation. Minor alchemy. Temporary alter physical properties. Flavor feature. What is this doing? Concentration. This feature does nothing. This does nothing. I don't get why is it concentration? It does nothing. 6th level Transmuter Stone. You can benefit from the stone yourself or give it to another creature. Yeah, like, choose one of the options. Faster, dark vision, con saves, a damage resistance while it has the throne. You can change the effects when you cast a transmutation spell. I like it. Polymorph in your spell book. If you don't have it, why don't you have it? You can spend it without spending a spell slot. When you do so, you can only target yourself and transform into a beast whose challenge rating is 1 or lower. Like, I need to do a utility cast of polymorph on myself. You get one of those for free. Yeah. Master Transmuter. Conservators. Yeah, you can destroy your Transmuter Stone to do a major effect. You cure diseases, poisons affecting the creature. I mean, it's a big effect. You have to make a new Transmuter Stone. You can raise dead. It's a big effect. It's a capstone. It's a permanent transmutation of a non-magical object, no bigger than 5-foot cube, with 10 minutes to transform it into something else. Yeah. And then you can produce age. Yeah. Like, that's all nice. That's all good. All right. That is time for today. We will be back next week going over the background and personality stuff, and I have thoughts. I think D&D is very sparse on this stuff, very strange, but yeah, I'll be back